You've probably seen the story floating around the internet. In the year 2000, Blockbuster had a chance to buy the scrappy little startup called Netflix for $50 million. The logistical details of that meeting are a matter of public record. Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph flew to Dallas in September, walked up to the 27th floor of the Renaissance Tower, and pitched CEO John Antioco a partnership where Netflix would run Blockbuster's online presence. To understand why Antioco said no, we have to look at the scale of both operations in the fall of 2000. Blockbuster had a customer base of 60 million active members. Netflix had about 300,000. Let's break down their financial realities at the time of this meeting. On the left, Blockbuster is pulling in $6 billion in annual revenue. On the right, Netflix is generating roughly $5 million, bleeding venture capital, and desperate for cash to stay afloat. The timing couldn't have been worse for a tech pitch. The dot-com bubble had just burst, and tech startups were collapsing globally. From the perspective of a profitable retail giant, buying an unprofitable mail-order DVD company at the height of a market panic looked completely irrational. Rejecting Netflix in 2000 made perfect business sense. The real mystery starts 4 years later, when Blockbuster began dismantling its own foundation. The core business of renting out physical media was surprisingly weak. Between 1996 and 2010, Blockbuster actually managed to turn a profit in only 2 of those 14 years. 16% of Blockbuster's revenue, an astronomical $800 million a year, came strictly from customer late fees. When Blockbuster tried to match Netflix in 2005 by dropping late penalties, they instantly deleted that $800 million slice without a subscription base to replace it. It also created an immediate operational crisis. Without a financial penalty pushing people to return tapes, customers simply kept popular movies at home for weeks. The physical stores were suddenly stripped of their best inventory, driving other renters away. The entire system required punishing the customer to function. The moment a frictionless alternative appeared, Blockbuster couldn't adapt without tearing up its primary safety net. The second blow was entirely financial, handed down by Blockbuster's parent company, the media conglomerate Viacom. In 2004, Viacom decided to spin Blockbuster out into a fully independent public company. Here's what that spin-off looked like on paper. Viacom forced Blockbuster to pay a special $5 per share dividend as a parting gift to its shareholders. To cover that check, Blockbuster had to immediately take on a loan of $905 million. This debt wiped out the capital they desperately needed to build a competing digital platform. Reed Hastings himself admitted this later, stating plainly, "If it hadn't been for their debt, they could have killed us." While Netflix was deploying venture capital into streaming technology and distribution logistics, Blockbuster was spending nearly $1 billion paying for its past. Despite the debt and the missing late fees, Blockbuster almost won the digital race. In 2006, they launched Total Access, a system that let users rent DVDs online and then exchange them instantly at physical stores for another movie. This graph tracks subscriber acquisition rates during that rollout. By the fourth quarter of 2006, Blockbuster's line is surging, completely overtaking the red line of Netflix. Customers loved the hybrid model. Running this dual digital and physical system was expensive. Billionaire activist investor Carl Icahn acquired a massive stake, took a seat on the board, and aggressively attacked the high operating costs of Total Access. Icahn demanded an immediate halt to the spending. When CEO John Antioco refused, Icahn pushed him out. The board brought in a new CEO, Jim Keyes, who immediately shut down the Total Access program. Blockbuster proved they could figure out the internet, and they built a service that was actively beating their rival. Their leadership chose to kill the cure to appease short-term investors. By September 23, 2010, the math finally caught up. Buried under $900 million of debt and stripped of their only successful digital initiative, Blockbuster filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. This comparison shows the final tally. Dish Network scooped up Blockbuster's remaining assets for just $320 million, a number that shrinks to a speck when you place it next to Netflix's current valuation of over $450 billion. The $50 million meeting is a convenient campfire story, The real post-mortem shows a company crippled by a rigid business model, a manufactured billion-dollar debt anchor, and a boardroom that destroyed its own lifeboat. Out of the 9,000 global stores that existed at the company's peak, exactly one single location remains open today, operating at the corner of an intersection in Bend, Oregon. It licenses the trademark year by year, surviving purely as a nostalgia museum where tourists buy t-shirts and rent DVDs for 99 cents, while Netflix streams to 300 million screens across the globe. The empire didn't fall to external invaders. It collapsed entirely under the weight of its own decisions. If this story gave you something to think about, you'll find more resources and related links in the description below. Subscribe if you want to see more stories just like this one.